Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
I got a hand. I opened the King Jack of Diamonds. I was probably in the low jack, and the gentleman that was on the button, he was probably mid to late 20s Asian gentleman. I opened a 20 in the 2-5 game. He 3-bet to 70.
How deep are you guys?
We're between 12 and 1300 effective, which was his stack.
Okay.
So I call 50 more.
So your head's up. So you open King of Diamonds, Jack of Diamonds, and the low jack to, was it 20?
20. Yep.
Button to 70. Okay. Hero calls.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's 140 after the drop.
Yep.
The flop comes 10-5 deuce with the 10 of diamonds.
Okay.
I check to him.
Yep.
And he bets 80. And I don't know if this is a point where maybe I get a little overzealous from time to time. It's a pretty dry board. There's a lot of good turn cards, I think, for my hand. I made it 230.
I don't think that you need to. I don't think you need to check raise here with this hand, because I don't know. I just don't see anyone folding an overpair really all that much. What I was going to say is that you can certainly call if you bet small enough. I mean, Queen Jack of Diamonds would be a little bit better, right? 3 to a straight flush. You sort of have 3 to a gutter. And the reason why I like a call is because if it's a blank on the turn and it goes check, check, you can just bet the river. I don't really know why. Like, what are you check raising? You're trying to just get him off of like ace king or ace queen here, but can't you get him off that later on? I guess is my point.
That was my thought afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of unnecessary. The one thing
also too, it's such a dry board.
Front.
Like, what are you representing here when you check raise? I mean, Tuckman always loves to say that, and I think he gets a little bit carried away with it in tournaments. But what are you raising here? Like, are you raising a set of tens? Do you have fives and deuces? It's super, super thin. Now, with that being said, a lot of people don't check raise as a bluff here, but I just think it's better to call here with almost your entire range in a 3-bet pot. It's really dry, and he's going to be firing a lot of. If he has it, he's going to continue to bet the turn. You give him a chance to wake up, to maybe run in a top pair on the turn. And I do feel like if you call and it goes check, check on turn, you can just bet the river.
Right. All right. And the one thing I forgot to mention, which I think is actually pretty important, is after he 3-bet, the gentleman in the big blind angrily folded and his cards flash, and it was an offsuit ace queen.
Okay.
So I think that, that blocks some of the aces, obviously the aces and the queens, which I thought was interesting at the time.
Yeah, but it doesn't do well. But it also blocks like ace king too, right? An ace queen. Yeah. But okay, so you check raise to 230.
I do, and he calls, fairly quickly.
So what's your plan now?
If I didn't improve, I was just going to check fold and just give up on it, and I was going to barrel anything. I plan on, if I picked up equity on the turn, I was going to barrel turn and river.
It's interesting, like, if you picked up a diamond on the turn, how strong would your hand look like if you actually check raise the turn? Because once he calls the flop, I don't think he's just calling with nothing here. A lot of people don't look at this, and it's not a play that you get to do all that much, which is a double check raise, like with a semi-bluff. But it would be very, very strong if, like, the turn was, like, say, like the 6 of diamonds, and you checked and he bet, and then you check raised again. But, okay, so what's the turn?
The turn is the king of hearts. It brings in backdoor hearts.
Okay. Do you remember what the flop distribution was at all?
I only remember the 10 of diamonds.
That it was the 10 of diamonds. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, at this point, I don't think he's calling with obviously ace king or on the flop raise. And I lead 280 on the turn. Now I'm trying to bet for value. I didn't think that was necessarily too big.
I think that that's pretty thin, man. I mean, I think you can go. I think usually you're going to check this turn when you hit a king. So you're trying to specifically get value from jacks or queens here?
Yeah, this is where I had the play where if I pick up equity, great, and I obviously didn't expect to just bank a king on the turn.
Yeah, but when you say pick up equity, I'm assuming you meant like in the form of like picking up a diamond or getting open-ended with a queen or a 9 or something. Not hitting a king or a jack though.
Yeah, you know? I wasn't expecting to hit the 6-outer.
All right, so you bet 280.
And he calls.
Okay.
The river brings in a blank. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a 7. And he's got somewhere in the ballpark of between 600 and 700 behind.
So the pot's like 1100 here or something like that?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
I mean, I really think. What did you say the river was? Just a blank, like a 3 or something?
Yeah, it was like a 7. It might have even paired the board.
All right, so a pretty inconsequential river. I don't know, man. I mean, you check raise the flop, he calls. You bet the turn on a king, he calls. Do you think you're going to get value from worse? Like, what do you have that like queens and jacks are going to call you down with here?
Well, I mean, that's just it. If I don't have this specific hand, the only other thing I can think that I might be raising on that flop would be something like an ace-3 or an ace-4 where I had a wheel draw.
I mean, I guess if you're in there, if you're defending there to a 3-bet, maybe.
Right, and that's just it. I don't especially out of position. I don't think that I necessarily am.
I think the play here is to check, hope it goes check, and then if you check and the guy bets, he's rather polarized. I mean, you block pocket kings. He shouldn't have all that much ace king, but he could have aces, and he could have pocket tens. That doesn't necessarily raise turn because he thinks it's invulnerable. I mean, that's 9 combos, right? Well, no, you said one of the aces was dead, so that's there's 6 combos of that. But I don't think that betting here on the river is going to be the right play. I just don't. Okay. I think it's way too thin.
That is, and that was where that is where I got led to on the end.
Yeah,
because I shoved the river and he called pretty quickly.
Well, I assume you're no good.
But, no, I was good, which is why I was curious.
He never showed his hand?
He did not.
That's sort of that's sort of an outlier. Does everybody in the table like look at you like, what the fuck are you doing?
Pretty much, yeah. And he just tapped the table and said, "Nice hand," and politely excused himself from the table. So
that's that seems pretty crazy. I mean, I would think, like I said, I don't like to check raise this flop really with much of anything. I think the turn is probably going to be a check. And then on the river, some people are saying you could bet really small on the river. I think shoving is not correct, but maybe bet really small or check at the end. When you say you shove and you get snap called, like you're going to be not good there, I would say 19 out of 20 times, especially when you say it's a snap call.
Yeah.
That's just a weird one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's why I thought I wrote it down and thought about it afterwards, and I just thought that there's no way that this goes down
yeah,
this way very often. So I didn't know if maybe I just fell into something or if maybe I was the one, maybe I thought about it wrong afterwards and I had it right in the moment. I wasn't really sure. No,
I think that's definitely a little bit too thin though at the end, but thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out CrushLivePoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.